everyone, welcome again to my channel. Today I'm taking you with me to the summer fair in Tienen. But before we do that, if you're new to my channel, hi, welcome to Quillscene. My name is Megan. If you like things that have to do with reading, with writing, with geeky stuff, with witchy stuff, with my adventures as a writer, then you're in the right place. Make sure to click on the magical subscribe button and don't forget to hit that bell, because on that way you'll always get a notification whenever I upload a new video. But yeah, we returned to the summer fair in Tienen. Let's see what that was about. So Tienen is like the next village over from where I live, so it isn't that far away from me. And every year at the end of June they have like this summer fair. The local carnival, I think it's called in English, is basically like the carnival attractions, like you have like on Coney Island and stuff like that, like the Ferris wheels and the roller coasters and merry-go-rounds, stuff like that. We usually have that at the end of June, right after the last exams are done in high school. I think it's for 2 weeks or 1 week that the carnival returns to Tienen. And during that same time, there is also like a summer fair program in the city itself. And one of those activities is like a podium where during several days, singers, both bigger names and small names, come to give a performance. There is an I think there was also like a parade for something, and then there is also, of course, the summer fair market, in which I took part together with my mom and Matthias. But first, of course, the details. When was this? This was on Saturday, the 22nd of June 2024. And the march itself was from 10 AM till 6 PM. Now, in the past, I did take part in the summer fair before. But back then, it was from the bookstore Standard Boekhandel organized. Well, how am I going to explain this? So the summer fair itself, back in the day, it was from the city that organized. So it's from the people behind, like the city personnel from Tienen itself, that organized the summer fair market. And basically it was, you could, as a vendor, you could order a space. They had like these stalls, like the market stalls, like you sometimes have in Animal Crossing and stuff like that. So it are like iron frames at the side, and then you had like an awning with a little roof piece above your head, and then basically in between the iron frames there would be a wooden plank as a table. So those stalls you could like order from the city, but the thing was that the stalls in Tienen itself were the first ones to pick. So if they wanted one or two of those stalls, they were first in line. And back in the day, back in the past, the Standard Boekhandel, who is part of the street that the market usually takes place, one of the streets, but it's basically in the main street that the market takes place. Back in the past, they used to have two stalls, and then they would invite different authors to come sign for an hour or two. And that's how I, back in the day, like I think, was it last year or the year before that, I took part in a signing like that once or twice. Of course, back then I didn't have to pay anything for the booth itself, but you know, a signing of 2 hours, and then of course I had to take my own books. and also had to pay the 30% commission that is normal with Standaard Boekhandel on every book that I sell there. So that was, yeah, it was also fun to do, but you know, there were a bit more, it was a more complicated scenario. For the edition of 2024, the city was less involved with the organization of the summer market, and the organization itself was actually taken over by another organization that is that has, yeah, they're specialized in actually organizing several markets, but more like the creative and second-hand markets and stuff like that. But again, they also work together with the city so that if the store owners in the streets wanted, they could still have their own stall. But now they opened the setup actually of the market. They opened it to everyone. So even if you didn't have a physical store, or even if you even didn't have an actual product that you created, but even secondhand stuff was allowed. So yeah, a lot of streets of Tienen were filled that day with tents, and even people without tents, and just, you know, blankets and towels on the ground where they would show stuff, but usually secondhand stuff in that case. And yeah, my colleague Matthias Maho, who lives in Tienen, had seen that they announced that, you know, the summer fair market was, you know, hosted 22nd of June. Yes, 22nd of June. And that it was open for everyone who wanted to come. So he contacted first me to hear if I wanted to join him. And I was like, yeah, of course. It also helps that I have all the material when it comes to tables and tents and stuff like that. So then he arranged with the organization that we had a booth of 6 meters so that we could put our tents up. So yeah, it was very early morning, even though it was like 10-15 minutes away from my door. We didn't have to drive long, but still, of course, we had to set up our tents and our tables and then our booth. And yeah, I was there with my books. My mom was there with our magical treasures, stuff. And then Matthias was also then there with his books, and he also had brought along the candles of his then still fiancé, by now wife, Emmeline, who makes beautiful figure candles. More about that later. And yeah, as I said, it was a mix of store owners who had, you know, booked one of those stalls so that they could, you know, bring their own assortment from inside the store to outside. There were people who sold secondhand stuff. There were people like Matthias and me and my mom, and then also Emmeline, though she wasn't physically there, that sold creative things. So yeah, it was a nice mix. There was also a lot of fun stuff to do. As I said, on one of the marketplaces at the end of the street was a huge podium where some singers came to perform. One of the bigger names that was there the day that we were there too was Bart Kael. People in Belgium will know him. He's like a Schlager singer who sings a lot of songs. His songs are in Dutch, and yeah, he's very popular here in Belgium. Then there was also a lot of course, things to do for kids. There was like someone who painted their faces. There was a huge bouncing house. There was a ball pit. And of course, the annual fair was also there. Annual fair / carnival fair was there. So yeah, that was also like a fun extra, because you would just, you know, walk at the streets that formed the summer fair market and then just like cross one of the markets, which would be maybe 10 meters, and it would be on the carnival fair, so that was fun too. And we also got a visit of Nala, you'll see her in the footage, who is a very, very cute dog, and is now one of the unofficial mascots of the Writers Collective. Let's roll the footage. as I already said, there was a big stage for the bigger names like Bart Kael, but there was also like small stages, well, not really stages, it was like platforms in the street itself where the market was, full street performances, performers, blah, I'm tripping over my words again. It was a long day. It was also a windy day because I remember that we had like always our jackets on, because even though the weather was kind of nice, the place where our booth was like there was always gusts of wind, so that made it a bit cold. But it was fun. We saw a lot of people back that we already knew. Also in the bookish kind of the word as loose from the books, because Tienen is also where I went to high school. Tienen is also where my mom used to work as a nurse in the hospital. So a lot of her old colleagues came by. I saw some old classmates back, also some readers that especially came for us. And yeah, it was just a very, very fun day. Also, one of the highlights of the day was when I was filming together with Matthias, because Matthias also makes vlogs. So usually in my vlogs you will see him pop up next to me, because when we go filming it's always together when it's an event where we both are. The two of us went to do the carnival fair. And as you probably saw, the sledgehammer, which is like the thing that like hangs and then goes like this, you should know it goes like the way like it goes 180 degrees. And the funny thing is, like, Matthias and I were both past 30 by now. We both look at it, and from the ground while filming it, we were feeling queasy just looking at it. And then we looked at each other, and at the same time we said, it's funny to think that when we were teenagers, we went like 3-4 times in that thing. So yeah, that was also, well, a fun thing to like reflect on, which was a funny moment. And then of course Nala, I love Nala. She was very cuddly. Yeah, as I said, fun day. I also did a little bit of shopping. I didn't went far. I stayed in my own booth because Emmeline of Sparks of Darkness had made some new candles, and my mom fell in love with a few of them. First of all, I'm going to show you the dragon candle. So it's a baby dragon that is like in his is hatching from its egg. It has like a soft pinkish off-white color. It smells also very nice. I'm going to put it because I don't want it to melt from my fingers. My mom loves dragons, plus I have in my books a dragon named Yura. She is a white dragon, but still I think it's off-white, pinkish, so it smells nice. Fun fact, I buy figure candles like this as a decoration for my bookcases. I put like a little card under it, or cardboard, or yeah, something, or a little plate under it, so it doesn't like leave stains on my bookshelves itself, but I can't just burn them. I'm one of those people, sorry. And then next to dragons, my mom also loves the image of the nine-tailed fox, Quillscene, however you want to call it, because it has different names and different folklore depending on which country it comes from. And Emmeline had one of her newest candles were 2 foxes. She had a normal one, like a lying fox, and yeah, my mom's favorite color is blue, and this is like bluish green fox, so we got that one. And then of course she had the cute little kitsune, and my mom chose the red orange fiery one. And that was everything I bought. As I said, I supported Emmeline's business because we have a few of her candles now. I have more of them somewhere in my bookcase, and also in our entryway when you walk into our home. We also have a place where some of her candles are positioned. So yeah, that was the damage I did at the summer fair in Tienen. And with that, we are already at the end of this vlog. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up or leave a comment down below. I love to hear your feedback, plus it also helps my channel grow. And I hope I see you guys soon for another bookish, magical, probably on the go video. Bye!